and career advisor. That's kind of my specialty, and I get very excited about it. So I'll share a little bit of that with you today, but I will let Jeff and Brittany talk a little bit as well, so you don't just have to listen to me the entire time. And this session is predominantly to introduce you to the resources that we have for you here. And we encourage you to make use of all of them at some point. Maybe regularly, maybe just once or twice while you're here. But we want these to be available to you. We want you to know them. We're glad that supporters can come and be here too, so that you can remind your students of this later. But we have a lot that we've given you and a lot that we want to give you and make available to you. So I'm going to get started, and then I think Jeff and Brittany will kind of filter in along the way here. So resources that we have tools, we have papers, we have places, we have people that are at your disposal all the time. That is literally why our jobs exist, is to be here to support you. So if you get anything from this presentation, I'd like you to remember these three. You have notepads in your bags if you'd like to jot some things down along the way. So you remember, you can take a little picture, snapshot, whatever you need to do to help remember these. So you can go back to them if and when it can be useful to you throughout your time here. So we're going to talk about tools, we're going to talk about people you can reach out to, and we're going to talk about a lot of the things going on campus that we really strongly encourage you to get involved in. There's reasons for that. So hopefully, if you came to advising in person, you received one of these wonderful silver folders. If not, I think they may actually have duplicated it in your bag. How many of you gone through that yet? They've actually added things to it since I last went through it. It's gotten a little thick, but that's because it is packed with every resource we can possibly think of for you. So there are some of the tools in here that we've made that certain students have previously maybe had concerns with keeping track of their assignments. We have a tool for that. Maybe figuring out time management and how their studying is to fit into their week. We have a tool for that. If we don't have a tool for it, if you're struggling with something, come to us, we'll either find one or make one. That's my promise to you right now. But there's a lot of other resources in here. There's information about our Logo Perks program. So if you have a student ID, you can use that for discounts around town. We're building that right now. So we didn't list the businesses on that flyer, but they're on the website. So you can take a look at that and connect with some of the business here in town. There are guides to the registration process, to financial aid information, to your Bursar account, and how you pay your bill. All of that is in here and much, much more. So please take a look through it and make sure that you've read at least a little bit about all of those resources. Some of the ones I mentioned just now really quickly were the study planner. This is how we help people figure out all their assignments and keep them in front of you, literally, so that nothing gets by you during the semester. So this is every day this term. And we make these every semester so that you can sit down on day one with all of your syllabi and look through and find where they've listed all their homework assignments and all their due dates and the tests and everything, and literally just write them all on here. Maybe pick a different color for each class so that you can see what's required of you every week. Look for patterns, look for overlaps. So maybe if you have a big essay and a big test in the same week, you can start to prepare for that in advance. Lower your stress level a little bit. But this also helps, particularly with online classes, if you know that maybe you have something due on Wednesday and then you have something else due on Friday and then something else on Sunday. This will help you make sure that those don't get forgotten. We've heard that way too many times. So we want to help you avoid that kind of trouble. This is my time management tool. I've revamped it a little bit since I put it in your folders, but it gives you some wonderful tips about how to schedule a week. Some different things to include on here. I have a feeling that you are all probably busy with life. We tend to fill our days. Adding classes to that mix will tax your time. No matter how good you are at time management or not, it will be an adjustment. So this is designed to help you map out your normal schedule, your obligations, your sleep, your travel, maybe a job, maybe other family obligations like cooking dinner, whatever you have to do, all your errands. Block them out. And then you can identify where your class times are. I recommend regularly. Where you're going to plug in your homework to make sure things get done by Wednesday, then things get done by Friday, then things get done by Sunday. So that you have a plan. This is not intuitive for a lot of people, but even just doing it once a semester can help you get set up to make sure you're leaving enough time for all your assignments throughout the semester. Some of those tools are also in the planner, which hopefully you got during advising, or I believe there are some in your bags as well. So make sure to take a look at that. Again, if you're not a planner person, that's okay. Find your own way to do that. But there are some wonderful, lovely resources that your student government has put in the front here, including some of those resources, the academic calendar, a place where you can list all of your instructors' information about the course. So if you need to contact them, you know right where to go. You can get that off their syllabus too. We'll talk about symbolizing. So make use of this. It is good through mid-May. So you should be able to use this next semester as well. Use it for whatever you need. Use it for outside stuff too if that's useful for you. Other resources in the UNM-LA website, of course, is a primary hub for everything that we can post on there for you. It does have regular announcements on that little scrolling banner. It's got drop-down menus for all kinds of information on advising, registration, new student orientation, online orientation. Yes, you're all here now, but this online orientation is a resource hub for you that is accessible all the time. So if you remember we talked about something but you don't remember what exactly it was, you can go in here and find it. It also has an actual student resource hub, I think is what they call it, that has videos and tutorials and tips for how to map out studying or how to prepare for certain kinds of tests. All of that is in there. All those other student success skills, they're in there. Also on the UNM-LA website is the catalog. That is where you're going to find all the specific degree requirements for your program. So you can literally use it as a checklist. It's maybe a little bit of a confusing format, but we can absolutely help you walk through that. You can also find course descriptions and prerequisites in there that can help you kind of understand the flow, but again, that's also our job. So we will meet with you regularly to help with that. Syllabi, I mentioned, every instructor should give you a syllabus. It's a requirement that they have. They have to turn it into us. So they have a syllabus, and in there is everything you're going to need to know for that course. It'll have instructor contact information, maybe office hours, so you can check in with them during those times. They've specifically set that aside for you. They will have the best way to get a hold of them. Some of them will give you their personal phone numbers. They will have how they're going to be grading all your assignments. They might have rubrics in there for those assignments. They typically do have a class schedule of some kind, which lists all your homework and the due dates, and maybe even the topics or the readings or things like that that you will be covering during the week. And map it all out for you. So use that as a reference. Read through all of it, please. It really is useful. It may get repetitive at some point, but trust me, read through all of it. And then of course your course materials, your instructors will use them if they have identified a book. Please make sure you get it. Please make sure you keep it. If you want to get one of those like digital versions, that would be just fine for now. But some of the instructors didn't list course materials in the online bookstore, so they'll be providing things for you. Read everything. Read it early, because they are giving you everything they can to help you be successful. They have planned this out, and they are ready for you. So the second piece was reaching out. Your instructors are your number one best tool for making sure that you're comfortable with the material, making sure you've got all your questions answered. And I can tell you, if you have a question, most likely there are several other people in the class that have the same question that don't want to voice it. So reach out to your instructors. They are very cool people, actually. I love our instructors. I can't think of one who is in any kind of trouble for our students. They are all willing to support you all. They're willing to bend over backwards. If something happens and you're communicating with them, they will support you. They will do everything they can. And if they don't for some reason, and they can't get back to you for some reason, talk to us. So your instructors, of course, will be able to say if you have your internet crashes, or you have a family emergency, and you have to leave town, or a student actually told me once his car got broken into and all his textbooks were stolen. I'm not sure why, but that's a situation where the instructor can help. Maybe they even have some materials that they can copy for you temporarily or help you get an extra access code or something like that that you can use in the short term. If your internet crashes while you're trying to submit something on Canvas, take a screenshot, email them right away, let them know. Attach that assignment, whatever it was, because then they can see you're on time. If something comes up, if you get sick, you need help catching up, they can help guide you through that. So they're your number one, and they're wonderful. They're people too, they understand, they get sick, they might have kids, they might have other obligations going on, so they understand life happens. Our library is also a wonderful resource. It's obviously a location on campus, but there's a lot in there. You guys got to meet Joe, right? Joe is so excited when he gets somebody who needs his help looking up research. He is so excited. Please make his day. Please make use of him. He is available to you all the time. He does the logo ID card printing, so if you'd like to hang around after your student orientation, I believe he will be available. I think the library closes maybe at 4. So he'll be around. You can come get your ID card printed. There's, of course, all the other stuff in there. The Academic Support Center, which, did they talk to you guys about the Academic Support Center much? No. Okay. There's a space in there that is set aside where our academic coaches will often have hours available for students. So we have specific academic coaches for English and math. The math one, I believe, is predominantly online. She's in Zoom very regularly, and she's very available by email. And then we have an English coach who is actually a former college professor. She knows a lot about study skills and success skills and approaches to the time management and the organization of your classes, as well as outlining your essay and proofreading it for grammar and working on sentence structure with you and thought development of all of this. She's fantastic with that. So she has regular office hours in the library, as well as, I believe, some Zoom hours, maybe in the evenings. But her hours and contact information, everybody's contact information is on the ASC website. You guys met Kevin too, right? Yeah, so his information is on here too. He is a fantastic resource if you have anything online. So you get stuck with Canvas, you get stuck with My Math Lab, or Mastering Biology, all those other little softwares that the instructors put in there with your books. Use him. You do not have to get stuck. You can make use of all of these tools. And I'm going to let Jeff come up now and talk to you more about a different perspective on using tutors.
All right, so some of this is to reinforce what Grace was telling you, and some of it's going to be a little different. But here's some research done at what at the time was San Bernardino State College, now it's USC San Bernardino. And they looked at success rates depending on people who sought tutoring versus people who didn't. Now if you're really wise and looking at graphs, you realize it looks like this is almost twice as much, when the real difference here is like 6%, because they cut off the bottom of the graph. But what it shows is consistently people who go to tutoring are more likely to finish classes and their grades are higher, right? The 2 ways we recommend starting out tutoring are to, like Grace saying, through the Academic Success Center. You can drop in tutoring for math, drop in tutoring for English, which is there's just a Zoom link. Once a week, Kevin Rosenberger is going to send that out to you. You just click on it, show up. And you might have to wait in line, maybe you don't, but you get help, right? And also, like Grace said, the English, they're also going to have in-person office hours in the library, where you can go in there and get help with your essays. One thing that sometimes students have problems with are these little journal entries that some professors have you do, where you read a little article and then you have to respond to it. For some reason, this is something that people are unfamiliar with, or they find it hard to get started. So you just show up and say, hey, here's something I had to read. I'm supposed to say something, can you help me do that? And she'll help you with that. Does that sound good? The other good way is to just contact your professor and get help. How many people here contacted your teacher when you were in school? You stuck on something and you email and show up after class. Most of them, all right? So what we recommend is you start right away, right? Because what happens sometimes is you're struggling a little bit, but you don't think you're struggling enough to ask for help, right? Or you say, I'm gonna just go to class the next day, and I'm gonna start to get it. Right, so you go to class the next day and you don't get it, and so then you struggle. And so eventually you get to the point where you're in such a deep hole that you're embarrassed to go to your teacher. Does that make sense? Does that resonate with you? Right? So don't get in that hole. Right? Even before you're sure you need help, ask for help. And it's the proven that it improves success and completion of classes. They were doing a study here. I talked to the dean here, and he said that they were looking at people here who do tutoring, and they found that success, their numbers are better than these numbers as far as most people, if not almost all people who seek tutoring, end up finishing the classes, right? And so just get help, right? Another thing that's going to help you is to get some sleep. This is research. The researchers found that students who receive less than 6 hours of sleep experience a pronounced decline in academic performance. In addition, each hour of sleep lost corresponded to a 0.07 decrease in the term GPA. Carnegie Mellon University. You're supposed to say that Carnegie, you know that? That's the way Andrew Carnegie said it, Carnegie. So if you start saying it like that, then you'll seem smart to other people, unless they don't know, and then it will seem like you don't know what you're talking about. So use it judiciously. Okay, so anyway, who here thinks they can get enough sleep? Who here never gets less, or very rarely gets less than 6 hours of sleep per night? 6 hours or more. Who gets more than 8 hours? Okay, some of you, that's good. The people your age, a lot of times need 8, 9, 10 hours of sleep. When you get to be my age, it's less. Okay? It's unusual for people my age to get more than 6 hours of sleep, although I do. I'm a sleeping superstar. I've been doing it since I was a baby. I can sleep super. There's different ways to make sure you get enough sleep. One of the biggest problems that we have with sleep is that you have your phone right next to your bed, right? And so you hear yourself getting messages, maybe, bing. And even if you can't hear it, you know there's messages waiting for you to respond to. You know what I mean? And so they say you're going to sleep a lot better if you either completely turn off your phone and put it away, or if you have it in another room. How many people do that? You don't have that? No, 1, 2, okay. Yeah, so that's good. That's one thing that they do to my phone by my bed when I'm asleep. I have it turned off. If I were asleep and I heard a ding ding, I just worry. I should hear it, right? But it's good to get that thing out. Also, don't get in the habit of getting up and then watching something, because then your brain would constantly be sort of encouraging you to get up, right? So get up, keep the lights low, and maybe you could read a book or something. But if you open up the computer or pop open your phone, it's going to make it very hard for you to get back. Believe that? It is, exactly. I can prove it. I could have had more research. I didn't want to overwhelm you with it. But definitely, you don't want to open the phone in the middle of the night. Right? I'm telling you because nobody does things because I tell them. Because I tell my wife that all the time. And still, if she's 1 o'clock, I didn't need to tell you that. Forget I said that. Okay, but really getting more sleep is going to help you remember things. It seems like sleeping is very closely connected to memory, right? And people who get less sleep always have a harder time learning new things. And that's what you're here to do, is to learn new things, right? So get that sleep, right? And try to get it consecutively. Don't say, well, I'll take a nap here in a minute, because that doesn't work as well with having a nice good long sleep. My wife had a friend in college who had read in some psychology book that you only needed 20 minutes of sleep per night. And so she tried to do that. And she started to struggle academically, and she was having a hard time learning stuff. And so we sort of confronted her and said, hey, you gotta get some sleep. She says, no, I think the reason that I'm not remembering is because I slept in a couple of times. Right? But yeah, so whatever thing she read is nonsense, or maybe it was sense and she just read it wrong or something. But you need more than 20 minutes to sleep per night. Right? Okay. Another important piece is to study every day. Majority of the information gained through cramming sessions ends up being forgotten not just over a period of time, but even during the actual test itself. This was a long research you could read. I can send you the link to it. Stanford University. And what they found is if you cram for something, and then you take like a 20-minute test, you can usually remember it pretty well. But if it's a long test, it's not only do you start forgetting like the next day, but you start forgetting while you're taking the test. So the longer the test is, the less good the cramming is going to do, right? Because you can only hold that information in your brain for a certain amount of time. And this is probably something you're aware of, right? Is that if you cram, then you have to sort of be constantly reminding yourself of those pieces, right? And then if you're writing and trying to run that through your head, it makes your writing worse and it makes your memory worse, right? So we recommend that you study every day. You might be able to take a day off, right? But if you have a specific time, say after you eat, or some people study better in the morning. They say that studying languages is always better right before you go to bed, right? Set aside time, and then that time is for you to study. It's not to study if you have a lot of studying to do, but study regardless, right? If you think you're done with everything, then just read through your readings, or do some of the other things that we're talking about here, like quizzing yourself, right? Because that's been proven to be, well, it's a slide here, so I'm not gonna spoil it for you. Let's just wait. Oh no, I thought it was the next one. I forgot. Okay. So, another thing that's really important is to shut off distractions. We talked about this while you're asleep. If you have your phone there, then it's going to be hard for you to sleep. But what they found is people focus better if they don't have their phone out. Who here does that? Who puts your phone away to study? Couple of you. Can you do that on purpose, or it's just a habit that you have? Yeah, so this is a piece of research done at UC Irvine where they found that it takes 23 minutes to regain focus. So if you're focusing on something and you get a text message and then you respond to it, it's going to take you on average 23 minutes to get back into what you're doing, which means that if you have like a 2-hour study session and during that time you get 6 text messages, then probably you were never focused on that at all. Right? Then probably the whole time you're halfway there, you probably ran into a situation where you're in class and the teacher or professor says, hey, did anybody have a problem on problem number 3? And so you look at problem number 3 and you see your work, but you don't remember ever doing problem number 3, right? Because you were half asleep while you were doing it. Your mind was somewhere else. They found that if you're talking to your friends and you have your cell phone, did you hear this study? This was pretty widely published, right? If you're sitting there talking to your friends, you have your cell phone out. This was done at UC Irvine also. That not only do you not remember what that person said very well, because your mind is halfway in your phone. And this was people, they didn't receive any text messages, they didn't open their phone and look up something. Just the fact that the phone was out. They're on the table. Not only made it so they couldn't remember what the other person said very well, but they enjoyed that conversation. Right? So what I'm going to recommend, if you can do it, you can force yourself to do it, is to not even have that phone in the room. Right? I've been trying to do this more. Right? I don't have my phone now. And sometimes if I'm invited to somebody's place, right, I just leave my phone at home. And I think it helped me out a lot. Right? Because I know it's just like, no, I'm sure if I turn it on, I got something waiting for me, wants my attention. Right? But if it's in, like right now, it's in my office. So if somebody texts me and says, hey, get back in the room, I don't know about it. I won't know about it until I go back. And so it's helped me out a lot. Say, also, like email. I can remember used to be. I can remember when I was in graduate school, we still had dial-up. Who here knows what that is? Dial-up. Some of you, it used to be that you have to use your phone line to get to the internet, right? And so I check my email maybe at most once a day, right? And then I would say, I just tell my wife, Cheryl, you using the phone in the next half an hour? And then I would take, I don't know how long it literally took. It felt like 15 minutes. I don't know. And then I connect, and then I read my email, and then I disconnect, and then that was my email for the day. Now there's me all the time. Right? And Teams messages, who here uses Teams? You like it? Okay, this is a third study from UC Irvine where they found that if they took away Teams and email from a workspace, that people actually get more work done. Like no email at all, right? And so these things that we think are making us more efficient are actually making us less efficient, right? So I try to turn, if I really need to focus on, which is so hard for me now, right? Focus to actually really focus on something. A lot harder than I used to be. I don't know if it's because I'm old, or because I survived COVID, or because things are just constantly ding, ding, coming at me, right? I don't know what it is, but if I really need to focus, I shut all that stuff off. Who's willing to try? Who's willing? All right, there we go. Tell me how it worked out for you. Then I have a story for next year. Okay, and then there's research. This one, the one that I'm most familiar with was done at Harvard, a study where they tried all sorts of different routine methods with people, and what they found is by far the most effective way to do review is to quiz yourself, right? And so when I was teaching, I had my students use Quizlet. It would generate quizzes, or they'd make them for each other, and they would do it. I had a colleague who once a week he would give you a little test to keep you fresh, and then you practice that. I know there's a movement now to give your students a test every day. some sort of little quiz or something. Right when you start a unit, you have a pretty long one. Then every day you have a short one, and then at the end you have a long one, right? And some of those count and some of them don't count, right? You can't pull somebody accountable for material they haven't covered yet, but you could have them practice, right? And they find that practicing by doing tests is the best way, right? So you could write a test for yourself, write a test for your friends, make flashcards. We used to do this. Does anybody here use actual like paper flashcards? Well, that's good. That's good. It's sort of an old-fashioned group here, I guess. Is that you just pull those out your friend or whatever, give you a little quiz on the flashcards. Absolutely great way to read, right? We used to use Quizlet. Quizlet now is expensive because you have to buy most of the things that we used to have for free. And so then we moved to Kahoot. And then we would make little Kahoots for each other. Who here knows what that is? Okay, most of it. If you don't, just look it up. Now that's getting where you have to pay for most things too, right? So, and it is, find something that works for you. That quizzing yourself is a very, very useful way. We'll give you back to Grace.
And if you absolutely have to have that phone with you somewhere, maybe keep it across the room. But I know that students have told me about a lot of different apps that are good for making flashcards, or for mind mapping, or for organizing your to-do lists, things like that. So the cell phone can be helpful. Email can be helpful, I promise. I already said last time. I will make you repeat after me. I will check my UNM email every day. That is our main form of communication with you. Please check it. That is the main form of your instructor's communication with you. We can't use anything else. We're not supposed to. So please check it. But it is a useful tool for communicating with your instructors, communicating with us. Even if you just have to send us a quick little sentence, we are here for you. We want to be one of those sources that you can reach out to. It is literally our job in student services to do everything we can to support you. That's why we're here. So we have all of these things going on in student services. We're kind of like a one-stop center. We don't call ourselves that because that's kind of a kitschy term that may or may not always be true in certain places. But we have everything we can possibly fit into this office. We also wear lots of hats. So you met Ingrid a little bit this morning. She does admissions and registration paperwork. I think you got to wave at Lori too. She is our records and transcripts keeper. She processes graduation. That's a very exciting time for us. We have Jenny, who works with financial aids. You guys met Jenny, right? Good. We should talk about FAFSA and all that kind of stuff, all the requirements and expectations. She also covers VA benefits. So if you are a veteran or related to a veteran, there may be some services available, resources. That's a bit outside of my knowledge base. So go talk with Jenny. She's fantastic. Then academic advising, we have Jeff and myself and Coco, and we will do everything we can to help you from start to finish. We do work with students in troubleshooting, like if you're having trouble with the time management, figuring out when to do your assignments, we will sit down and work with you on that. If you are having trouble communicating with an instructor, they won't get back to you for some reason, let us know. We can help with that. So we also do, of course, the academic advising to plan for the next semesters and for future planning. If you're getting a bachelor's degree down the road, we help from day one to start looking at that program and making sure that everything you're doing here is aligned with that. And we look at timing, and we have connections, particularly at UNM, but we're branching out a few other places too. So we can help with that transfer process. I told you career services is kind of my wheelhouse. I like it very much. I will share some stuff with you guys here in a minute. But I truly believe that every student can benefit from career services. Probably every person can benefit from career services. It's a process that we go through repeatedly, this career development. And if you don't go through all of the pieces of the process, something might get left out, and then you end up where you don't want to be. Anybody ever have a job that you just knowing yourself and knowing the best job for you. You guys probably all have some ideas about where you're going with this. If you don't, it's okay. We're here to help with that. If you do know, we're here to help with that. So we want to make sure that you have what you need when you graduate. You're ready to go. Internships, I think, are a huge part of that. I will let Brittany talk about that more in a little bit. And then accessibility resources. There is a flyer in your folders about that. Coco is our primary point person for accessibility and providing accommodations. So if you had a 504 plan, if you had an IEP in high school, if you have a diagnosis of some kind that will cause you some struggles in the school, we may be able to provide accommodations. So meet with her. So the last group, even if you're going to try without it, or you feel confident it's not going to be a problem, college is stressful. There may be something that comes up, and if you've already met with Coco, that's just a fallback for you. It's already in place. So I always encourage people to meet with her, just talk about options. Have them ready if you need it. And then life happens. We know life happens. Your instructors know life happens. It happens to all of us. We want to be a resource for you. So we've had people with family emergencies, with cars breaking down, with losing their housing, with food insecurity, with car trouble, with all kinds of things. We've probably heard the story. We've probably known some people in that same situation. And we want to be one of your go-to people to be able to help with that, to find resources in the community, to connect with your instructors here and help you work through whatever needs to happen here with financial aid. If it affects your schedule or your financial aid, we are here to help with that. We want to be your point person. That is literally why we come to work every day. So please reach out to us. Okay, a little bit about career services. Yes. Okay. So I try to work with students through this process, called the career planning process. And these are the steps I was talking about so that we make sure we don't overlook something that's really important. Say, your personality, or your pet peeves, or maybe it's the environment you want to work in. So the career planning process goes through, first, knowing you've got to make a decision. You're here for a reason. You want to pursue something different. Maybe you need to pursue something different. And then, once you know that, you make some choices, you come here. But a lot of people jump straight to the, okay, I'm going to go pursue this career, so I need this education, and I'm off and running. And they may have no idea what that career actually does. A lot of my students before come in and say, oh yeah, I want to design video games, so I'm going to be a programmer. That makes sense, right? You have to do some programming. At UNM-Los, that's a fine arts degree. Because you need the creative storytelling, you need the character construction, whatever you're going to do with that. Maybe even just the set around it. So there's a very different aspect to a lot of these career paths that we want to help you make sure actually fits you. So here's my other tool. This is an informal version of an interest survey. There are various levels of formality with this one, so you can always do more with it, but it's just a starting point to think about your interests. And what is it that's really actually fun for you? Because the gentleman that came up with this, John Holland, the psychologist, said with his research, he noticed that people have almost like a career personality. That's their interests, things that they really enjoy doing. And then he discovered that careers also have very similar traits. So if you like working with people, there are jobs where you can work with people. If you like sitting in a computer in a lovely little office all by yourself for months on end, there are jobs where you can do that. If you would rather never see a computer and you want to be outdoors in the sunshine all the time, maybe even the rain, that's okay, there are jobs that do that. So finding something that fits you best. Interests, personality, preferences for interactions, for environment, for certain tasks. Finding the best fit will make you the most satisfied, the most successful, and have longer longevity in your career. It's good all around because it's a lot less like work. So that's just some of the things that I do with my students in the career exploration process. There are lots of other tools that I have at my disposal. Myers-Briggs, some more tangible kinds of things to help you sort through different ideas. We are also planning a job fair every semester. So we have one scheduled for, I believe, October 3rd. It's coming up kind of quick. We do intend to have some workshops before that comes up, so resumes, interviewing skills, some preparation for that kind of opportunity. We try to do that every semester. There are some other things around that we hope you take advantage of, like guest lectures. We've got Lano on our back porch. So a lot of instructors like to bring them over and give presentations on their research, involve them in things that we're doing here. And those are typically open to all of UNM-LA. Internships, of course, we have Brittany over here, so I don't want to steal her thunder, but I get really excited about them. They are probably the best kept secret for exposing you to careers and to giving you actual experience while you're here, to make you more competitive when you graduate. And we'll talk about campus involvement a little bit more here in a second too. I will turn it over to Brittany.
All right, awesome. So again, my name is Brittany Carpenter and I am an internship coordinator. So Kai cannot answer this question. What? Who knows what an internship is? Has anyone ever heard of an internship? Okay, what is an internship? It's like working with somebody who wants to hold up. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Did you guys hear what she said? She said you get mentored, so it's two parts, right? You're mentored, like kind of mentors a student for a shorter period of time, right? A few weeks, a few months, in an area that they're interested in. Whoops, I forgot. We had
Those are other things that we just talked about.
other things that she'll come back to. Okay? So, this is my favorite definition that I have ever found of an internship, and it's a temporary work experience, just like you said, that provides practical training and exposure to a profession. So you're really taking what you learn in the classroom and putting it into practice. But here's why it's so great. One, it's temporary. You are not committing to a 40-year lifetime career by choosing an internship. Here at UNM-Los Alamos, you're going to choose one semester, and you commit to that one semester, you get to try it out, and then you're done. Okay? So if you don't like it, you gain that knowledge. If you love it, you gain that knowledge, right? Maybe you think you want to be an accountant, and you go into the accounting firm, and you're like, actually, this is terrible, just like she said, right? It gives you a chance to practice, to try it out, to dip your toes in the water without this huge commitment. You don't want to get a degree in something that you hate, okay? Please don't do that. And so internships are the way to get that practice. So here at UNM-Los Alamos, one of the ways that we do that is through our CIC program. It's called the Community Internship Collaboration. We go by work, earn, and learn. And so you work because it is 60 hours. It's not a full-time job. It ends up being about 5 to 6 hours a week, okay, by the time you actually get put in the job and graduate at the end of the semester. The 60 hours has to be total, so if there's a week that you're super busy with like midterms and you talk to your boss and you're like, actually, can I put in a few more hours the next week? Right, we talk to the bosses and we say, hey, let them do that, okay? They respect that you're a student. You do get paid through our program. It's a $900 stipend. It does come at the completion of the program. So it's not like every 2 weeks if you need some kind of work where you get paid every 2 weeks. It's not going to be like that, so we do want to put that out up front. But it ends up being $15 an hour. And once you finish the class and complete your project, that goes into your student account for you to pull out and use however you want. And then you learn. So part of the internship is taking practical information from your classroom and using it on the job, right? And a lot of students, any type of student who hasn't maybe worked in a professional environment, doesn't know what to expect. So the idea is we're going to teach you some of these principles, right? What is it like to work in a more professional environment? What happens when you have a conflict at work and you're not really sure how to approach it? So we do a 9-week, it's not a full semester class, it's an hour and a half on Tuesdays from 2 to 3:30, okay? So you do have to be able to attend the class. And we teach you some of these principles on how to have a successful internship. So the real thing is, as you guys are looking at, this might be your first semester, you might be returning, as you're looking at your sort of academic career here at UNM-Los Alamos, I really want you to think about not like if I'm going to do an internship, but when am I going to do an internship? When do I have the capacity? When do I have the time? Because I know by doing it, it'll make a huge difference. And so working with your academic advisor to figure out what the best semester might be to do an internship is really, really valuable. I'm going to go ahead and show you just a short clip. This is a video of Syra. She's one of our students who since, I believe she's graduated, moved on, I don't even know. I haven't seen her on campus, so I'm going to guess that she's But she did an internship at the Sala Event Center. Has anybody been there to see a movie or anything like that? Awesome, very good. Okay, let's see what she has to say.
My name is Syra, and I study liberal arts at UNM. I'm doing the internship at Sala Event Center. My title is Event Manager at Sala. At Sala Event Center, what I've had to do is I've had to coordinate with different businesses, such as the Chamber of Commerce, they will be here early and Los Alamos Student Services, and they performed outside, and we saw us here in Los Alamos, and they were in charge of catering for our event. I would definitely recommend CSE, especially for people who don't know exactly what they want to major in. I think it's a great opportunity to go ahead and try something new, to get way to get some experience and just interact with other people in the community. I would not imagine myself doing what I'm doing, and I really liked it.
Okay, so let's talk about what she had to say. Who here knows what they want to do after they get their degree? I love it. Okay, what you gonna do? Nursing, pretty bad, okay.
I'm currently a firefighter.
Oh.
I'm going for my associates in fire science to better my career.
Yeah, because then that, you've got the credentials that goes with your experience, right? Okay, love it. I don't know your name. Mike, okay?
Project manager.
Project management, critical these days. Oh, I have like 10 internships for you. Okay, see me later. Okay, did you know, Eric, what we're gonna do? No? Okay, let's get back to you. Okay, who else knows what they want to do? Okay. Oh, I could also have an internship for you. Yeah. Social work. Again, yes. Where are you?
Mechanical engineer.
Okay, mechanical engineer, potentially. Let's talk. Like, did you have one? Did you know what you want to do? What are you going to do?
Library sciences.
Okay, I also potentially can have one for you. Now, tell me who does not know what they want to do. Thank you. You are my people, like, I love everybody, but you're my people. Because I was set, like, oh, I know what I'm going to do with my career. It's going to be amazing. And then 4 years later with my degree, I'm like, what the heck did I just do? And now at 40, I'm like, yeah, that was not the best decision in my life. Okay? Which is why I'm so passionate about internships, okay? Because the reality is like, you don't know what you don't know. And you don't know how many like possibilities are out there until you start experimenting and seeing what is available and seeing like, you know what, this is a really good fit for me or it's not a good fit for me. And so you have this like finite period of time where you can like experiment and play around with it. So Kai, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Kai actually helped us out with one of our interns at thank you. I know. And tell me why, from a business perspective, it was good for you guys to have an intern.
It was really good to know, or one, I enjoyed mentoring and teaching, but it was good to hear about what she was looking for, what she was able to accomplish, and the fact that she also showed us things to do with like our website and stuff that we didn't know how to do. And it was a huge learning opportunity, and we hired her on, and she just put in her notice because she got a better job, paying job. So we're really happy for her, but
Yeah.
It was great to have her on our staff.
Yeah. And we hear that a lot from the businesses that participate in our program. And we have had more than one. Kate was not the only person that was hired on after her internship. Very often we will have our interns that get hired on afterwards. If it's, you know, a good match and good fit, and that one was a perfect fit, I thought last semester. And so there are a lot of opportunities. Now, maybe you're gonna look at this list and you're gonna be like, actually, none of those places sound exciting. I don't wanna work anywhere, okay? Totally fine, I respect that. However, please know that we do this program every spring and every fall, okay? And every semester, there are different organizations because it's a project-based internship. We want you to leave with something tangible. I did this, that you can put on your resume, that you can share the experience with, right? They'll write letters of recommendation, all these reasons why you want to do an internship. And so depending on the needs of various businesses, they might put in for an internship this semester and then not need another one for another couple semesters. So depending on what your interests are, I don't want you to give up if you don't see one that's of an interest to you. I want you to keep looking. Also, mechanical engineering. We're going to use you as an example. I'm sorry. I hope that's okay. There are a lot of mechanical engineering might just pop in. And so even if you have one of those, come and see me and come and talk to me, because it may not fit under CNC or CIC, but we also, at least once or twice a year, we'll have Lano come in and talk about ways that you can get an internship over at Lano. We'll have organizations that I know of that are engineering firms that are not with the lab, if you don't want to be at the lab. And they have slightly different requirements, but I can help you through the process, okay? Yeah?
So I actually did have an internship with them this summer.
Congratulations.
The last day, it was a great experience. So
Yeah.
I think it's really neat to help kind of use this valuable time to kind of feel out what you want to do. Yeah, because it really did that.
Did that for you?
Yeah.
Yes, you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that. It does. It makes a huge difference. And so again, it's not a matter of if you do your internship, it's when you do it. It makes such a difference. And you can do it more than once, okay? We've had many students that have done an internship and they were like, yeah, that was great. And then 2 semesters later, they're like, yeah, we're going to work there. I'm going to try that one out, okay? So whenever you see a place or an organization or something you want to try, do not hesitate. Now, we obviously have just a short amount of time, but if you guys are interested, I'm going to have 2 information sessions, not next week, but the week after. I want to give you guys a week to like be in your first week of classes, breathe a little bit, so write down where we're going to be. And then the other thing we do is our meet and greet. Anybody like pizza in here? Thank you, yes. We feed you guys pizza, and what it is all the businesses who want to have an intern in their office this semester are going to be there, and you can come and talk to them. So, we'll have flyers up on the wall, probably starting next week, and if you go to our website, which will be up, it has all the ones. We have 19 positions that are open this fall that are looking for interns. And so they will be there, and you can talk to them a little bit further and get a little more information than what you would get on a flyer. So we'll feed you guys lunch. It's very informal. It's just an opportunity for you to come and ask questions to the businesses. But they really enjoy getting to know you and to talk to our students. So it's a really fun event. It's also going to be the same day as Welcome Back Day. So if you guys have not heard about Welcome, anybody talked about Welcome Back Day yet? Okay, we set up a tent from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We hand out t-shirts, chips, drinks, treats, swag. If you're not going to be on campus that day, I really suggest, if you have the time and ability, to come to the meet and greet. Again, we do that every semester. But definitely come get your swag at the Welcome Back Day tent. Again, I work Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Okay? All you need to do is go into that student services office and say, hey, I need to talk to Brittany. If I'm there and I'm not doing anything, they'll usually say, like, can you see someone? If you want it more formalized and you want to know for sure I'm going to be there, make an appointment and we can totally have a conversation about local internships, but also if you want to go to DC and intern in Washington, DC, or you want to intern in Santa Fe with this, the state, they always have internship programs. I'm happy to help you through the process. We want to make sure it's a positive experience for everybody. Anyways, we'll make it happen. But here's a list, okay? So it doesn't actually say what you're going to do in the different ones, but these are all the organizations that are looking for interns this semester. Now, maybe you just need some cash, and maybe you just need something to beef up your resume because you may not have a lot on there. Another good reason to have an internship, because you don't have to be studying project management to do a project management. I can't play favorites, so they're all super cool. But because we talked about project management, we have several different ones. There's a big toy drive that the real estate agent puts on every year, and they need help, just bring that all together because they're realtors, and then on the side they do this, and so they want someone to come help organize this toy drive. Yeah.
What if there's like a business that's not on here, but if you talk to them, and they can offer an internship, would that be a possibility?
100%. Thank you so much for asking. So if there is, in particular the law firm that I was like, oh maybe, let's talk. Because they wanted an internship but they didn't get their application in. And so because we've been doing this program for so long, we know a lot of the businesses in town. And some of them have participated, but maybe they just didn't have time to put their application in or they weren't thinking about it. But I can call them up and be like, hey, I have this really amazing student and they want to intern with you. What do you think? So I may not be able to get it right then, but we may be able to plan for it for the next semester. Okay? So absolutely, thank you for asking. Obviously, it's a relatively small community. We've also had, like San Ildefonso has asked for computer interns in the past, and he didn't this semester, but that doesn't mean that they don't still need one. They may just not have put it up this semester. And so if location of travel is an issue, because all our businesses this year are here in Los Alamos, we can also reach out off the hill. Also, most of these are a combination of remote and in person. You don't necessarily have to show up every single day. You can do some stuff at home. So definitely, like, that's the best part of it, is that it's flexible, and there's ways that we can work around it as long as you guys communicate with me, okay? They know they're supposed to be mentors. They're not going to be bosses. They know they're teaching you, and that's the best part, because they really, like you said, you know, they took you under their wings and you were able to learn these things. If they're hiring an employee, they have different expectations for you, okay? Every Thursday I'm going to do an internship spotlight. Remember, check your mail. You all said you committed to checking your email, your UNM-LA email, right? On Thursdays I'm always going to do an internship spotlight, and it will highlight both local and state and Albuquerque and federal internships, just so that you guys begin to understand what all, again, is out there. So take a look at those when they come in. Do I have another slide? Look at all these are all our students doing super cool things in our community. The library science one, that's why I was like, oh, maybe she was also studying library science, and we had an internship at the Los Alamos Historical Society doing archival work. And so I know they have one posted this semester. Occasionally we will have work with medical things, and so we've had some inquiries in regards to that. Again, a lot of marketing, computers, whatever you can think of, you just gotta ask. So thank you. Any questions? Okay, you guys are amazing. I know it's long. We're almost there. And if anybody needs my business card, just come grab one afterwards.
Everybody should take one. Hang on to it. Yes. So something else that I mentioned about taking opportunities. We have several groups on campus that we encourage you to be involved in. Studies show that getting involved in your campus tends to make you more successful and actually complete your program. I personally think it's because you start making connections with the staff members, and it's a lot easier to ask for those resources or just drop in and ask a question really quickly. I've been a student government advisor for a long time, and Jeff is coming on board with us now, and I have written many recommendation letters for these students. We'll finish our meeting, and then they'll ask me something about academic advising really quickly, and then we'll go on our way. Student government is a very small group of students on our campus, but they get to be the voice of students. They get to look around campus and see different needs that might be here. They also get a portion of the student fees that you all pay to manage that and to be able to fund some of these resources. Like there's a hydration station in Building 6, or there's computers in the lobbies of Building 6 and 4 and 3, and over in the Student Center. We are in the process of creating a Logo Lounge, so students can actually just have a place to hang out. Maybe even, I think, a pool table, couches, and stuff like that. So student government gets to initiate some of these projects and create some of them, make some of them happen. We are involved in just like some landscaping redesign, all kinds of different things going on. It's actually pretty easy to get into, but I'm always recruiting, so if you're interested, it's a really good thing to put on your resume as well. It's good for leadership. Similarly with student ambassadors, this is a group of students that we train to help represent UNM-Los Alamos in various capacities. So they might give tours for our little high school groups that come through, or they might actually go on recruitment events with Greg, or I don't know if you guys met some of those other folks that we go and visit high schools, and sometimes these ambassadors will actually go with us to their former high school. So there's a name and a face and some familiarity there, and they get really excited about kind of giving back to UNM-Los Alamos, contributing to their forward movement and the other students that are coming along behind them. And I'm gonna let Jeff talk about Phi Beta Kappa and some of the stuff going on over here.
All right, who here has heard of Phi Beta Kappa? Raise thy claw.
Oh, look at you.
Okay, this is like the Phi Beta Kappa for two-year institutions. They're officially connected as an honor society. This past year we had, it's something that used to be really big here, and then it sort of dwindled due to COVID. and it's coming back up, so you're gonna be able to ride that wave to the future, right? This past year they had 3 people. It was all guys, one of them pointed out, and so it'd be nice if we were able to diversify a little bit, right? And so if you're interested in that, they do have regional conferences, national conference. One thing that they used to have back when my brother was here in the 90s, they had a journal where people could write poetry or draw pictures or write stories. And there's some people who are interested in bringing that back, right? So if your grades are good and you'd like to hang out with other smart people, look into this, right? You can ask me for the link, or you could find it on the UNM-LA website.
Can I interject, Jeff?
Oh yeah, I know what she's gonna say. I forgot something. When go talk.
Phi Theta Kappa can also give some very nice scholarships to 4-year programs. So that's another funding source when the bill goes up. Moving to 4-year institutions, let's see, can be like triple the cost or more. So having some extra resources like this not only looks good for your resume, but can also be beneficial in your next steps.
Okay, yeah, and that does, it looks really good on your resume that you're a member of the honors society, right? This year we're trying to, I've been talking about getting together a writing club that would meet once a week. It would be fiction, poetry, like short stories, that sort of thing. Maybe cartoons, or if that's your thing, I don't know. Who here would be interested in something like that? Meeting once a week, sitting down, reading other people's writing. Okay, well that's a lot. Maybe we have to have 2 writing clubs. Okay, so, and then as far as staying active, we really haven't had a lot of physical activities on campus. One thing that I talked about is before classes, maybe a lot of classes start at 10, so maybe at 9 or something. Going out and playing ultimate frisbee. Is there anybody be interested in that?
Oh, nice.
All right, so I hope we could move something out. I have bocce ball, we have cornhole. Right? There's other stuff that we could be doing. We could bring it out and we could get out and start playing stuff together. We don't necessarily have physical exercise facilities. High school says we can use this practice a lot if they're not there, but if they are there, then we can't. So it might be sort of like show up and maybe we'll end up playing or something. So that's that. And then one other thing, and this is something I need people who are really, if this sparks your imagination, right? Let me know. Because one idea I had was, and I tried to get it together at the school I was teaching at for the past 16 years, but it never quite coalesced, is to go get a kite flying club, right? And then build kites and learn about the aerodynamics and stuff of them. And then the American Kite Flyers Association has a property near the beach in Orange County somewhere, right? And then seeing if you can keep a kite in the air for 10 days, non-stop, like tag team kite flying, and then it would be in the Guinness Book of World Records for flying the kite, right? The current record holder for that record is a Washington Community College, right? So they're not trying anymore because the guy who led the charge there also tried to build the largest kite. It was as big as a football field, and it killed him. So we have an opportunity to take. Who here would be interested in not in the killing thing, but in the other one? Who here would be interested? Who here? That sort of seems like.
I love it. Good job.
Okay. So what else do we got? We got to tell them where to go.
Yeah. That'd be like one more step.
Okay, here we go. That's right. I forgot. She has another.
It's all in my head. This is why I don't always click through. Just wanted to reiterate a different perspective on and to reach out. Because reaching out is not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of failure. It's a tool. And it is a sign of self-insight, awareness. We all have some limitations. And we are social creatures. And we are designed to work with each other to be successful. So it helps make the right decisions moving forward with your education. It brings that stress level down a little bit so it's not hanging over your head, whatever that problem is. I know it sticks to the back of my head, and that's what keeps me awake and I don't get enough sleep. But it leads to greater success. You have the resources. You can use the resources. You have that lower stress. You have better mental and physical health. And we are here